looking more and more like a serious contender in the Western Conference. They won their 7th straight game Wednesday night, a 124-116 win in Houston. 40 points, 9 rebounds, and 10 assists for Luka Doncic, 30 points for LeBron. LeBron made 13 of 14 shots. It was not a good night for the Clippers in New Orleans. The Clippers lost their 3rd straight game. New Orleans pulled away for a 124-109 victory. The Clippers are below 500 again at 34-35. For the first time in the history of the NCAA men's basketball tournament, 3 HBCU teams are competing in the first round: Tennessee State, Howard, and Prairie View A&M. Prairie View became the 3rd team Wednesday night when they beat Lehigh 67-55 in the play-in round. Before this year, 2 HBCU teams was the highest number that qualified in previous NCAA men's tournaments. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. So, who's really paying the price? Scores of people dead and counting. Over 9,000 homes burned to the ground. Entire neighborhoods in Altadena gone. The Altadena Eaton Canyon fire is one of the deadliest fires in California history. And Edison's own CEO told investors the company has not identified any other possible source of ignition. In other words, they started it. So, what does the man at the top walk away with? Pedro Pizarro took home $16.6 million in cash, stock, and other compensation last year, a 20% raise from the year before. Let that sink in for a moment. A 20% raise, while families in Altadena are still sifting through the ash. Now, Edison will tell you they cut executive bonuses by 40%. Sounds like accountability, right? Wrong. 6 senior executives lost an estimated $2 million in bonuses. On the very same day, the company reported $4.5 billion in profit for 2025. $2 million out of $4.5 billion. That math ain't mathing. That's not a penalty, that's a rounding error. And here's the part that should really make your blood boil. Over $1.6 billion in damages from a previous fire that SCE equipment started is now being covered not by the company, but by SCE customers just like you and me through rate hikes. The victims of utility failures are being asked to pay for the utility's failures. Sickening, shameful, disgraceful, reprehensible. You choose your own word. The people lost everything. The CEO got a raise. The company posted record profits. And your electricity bill is going up. As you well know, KBLA Talk 1580 has been out front and unapologetic about demanding accountability for SoCal Edison. But this is far from accountability. This is the system working exactly as it was designed, just not for you. With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Black. Black, black, black. Black on black, black. Yeah, hey. Okay, black, 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 black on black, black, my thoughts so black, black, black on black, my skin is so black, I'm rocking that black on black is black.
Rims on this black, wheels in this black, whip with this black bitch. I'm so black on black on black on black on
black, 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 black on black, black, my thoughts so black, black, black on black, my skin is so black, I'm rocking all black, everything is black.
Rims on this black, wheels in this black, whip with this black bitch. I'm so black on black on black on black on.
Hey, black out the coupe, hop out the roof when I run into you. Thoughts black as the dark side of the moon. Won't be no truce, won't be no truce. At your funeral in an all black suit. Couple white girls rocking all black too. Me and your man marching on all black roots. Call up the troops, call up the troops. Punch you in the mouth, then knock out your tooth. I can tell when they not telling the truth. Talking that what you gonna do?
KBLA Talk 1580. Haha, we don't black down. All right, let's switch to national stories. I'm really excited to have an award-winning journalist, media personality, and writer in studio with me. She focuses on arts and entertainment, but she is very well-rounded. She writes on the intersections of gender, politics, race, and pop culture. She's been on BuzzFeed, Huffington Post, TMZ, Fox Soul, and a lot more. including Essence, by the way, and Variety. Shar Jossell, welcome.
Good morning.
I didn't realize you were over there hanging out with my colleague, Jill.
Yeah.
She does a great show.
I love Jill.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's our entertainment specialist here.
Uh-huh.
And you are on the board of directors, chairperson of the NABJ board of directors, or are you still doing that?
I'm actually the president of NABJ LA. I'm actually the current president
Welcome,
of NABJ
Madam
LA.
President.
Thank you. Thank you. I was on the board for a few years, but yeah, now I've been president.
So you moved up to president.
Yeah.
Yeah. I must admit, I am not a member of NABJ, never have been.
Oh,
but it's
really?
no diss. I've done events with NABJ and
Yeah.
such, the National Association of Black Journalists.
Mm-hmm.
It's never been a philosophical thing. It's more been like I got 3 jobs and a kid and But I do admire the work that the organization does.
Yeah. Well, in our Los Angeles chapter, we have 355 members, roughly a little under 200 that are active. And listen, we make accommodations. Okay, anybody can join, whether you have children or you don't have children, or a robust schedule or not. Like, we are very flexible with our programming, and I'm really proud of a lot of the work we've been doing since.
All right,
I've been
Char,
president.
sign me up.
I'm just saying.
We got her recruiting
Come on,
me.
come on, come on,
On
come
the
on.
air. I'm not mad at that. Well, I have tracked the work, and I've sat on panels, and I've been in roundtable discussions behind the scenes. So I'm here for it. It's been a while though. But I do think it's more important than ever, given where we are right now, and and now direct threats that we're getting as media. When the FCC chair says, we're going to take your license if you don't report on the war the way we want you to report on the war, we're in a new chapter.
Yeah, for sure. We are in, as people keep saying, unprecedented times. We're in a time that I cannot recall in my lifetime I've ever encountered anything like this ever before, or even the perceived threat. And I don't know how we're going to navigate this, but I truly believe in the end we will be okay. I just don't know if we've seen the worst of it yet. That's my only trepidation.
I think we're on the same page with that, because I always say that I think we win the war, even if we lose a bunch of battles.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the bombing war. I mean the human race war.
Yeah.
Not race war, the human war.
Right, the human war. The
Yeah.
human war. Yeah, it's and I should mention that my frame of thought around this, it fluctuates day to day. Like this morning with you, I'm feeling like optimistic, but I may not feel this way, tomorrow or in a few hours. The news cycle is vicious. We don't know what we could be talking about by 2 p.m. today, coming up out of that White House. So.
And the crazy thing is that we always were journalists. It's our job to stay on top of it. But it feels like a much harder job lately. Like we need to double the hours that we spend reading crazy things.
Yeah.
And speaking of how we report on the war, the White House is trying to control through the FCC what we report and what we don't. I don't think that's going to go well. I feel like even the mainstream journalists are rebelling against that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to report. And here in this country, I think a lot of times we can be bombing Yemen, or we can be bombing, we can be helping to bomb Gaza or Ukraine. A lot of people don't pay attention to it because it doesn't impact them directly. But right now, gas prices are up like 25%.
Yeah.
And so people are paying attention.
Yeah, I think ultimately the way in which we report on this stuff, it does boil down to the news directors and the station managers, and if they're willing to fold or if they're going to hold the line, because there is, a lot on the line. If they're threatening to take your license away, that impacts everyone, every job. But to the gas prices, I don't think we've seen the worst of it. I think that the cost of living, if I'm not mistaken, it's been reported that it is quadrupled since he has taken office, and things are getting more and more expensive. We see that the people at the top are not necessarily on the consumer side. We see that reflected in the airlines. We see that reflected in how everything is becoming tier-based. Everything is becoming subscription-based. And like I said, the cost of living has quadrupled, but the wages that we're earning, no one's getting bonuses and raises, and we've lost so many jobs. And I'm really concerned. Like the prices in LA, I was just talking to my mom who lives in Chicago, and I'm like, with all due respect, y'all's gas has gone up, but y'all ain't got nothing on California. Y'all ain't got nothing on Southern California. It's kind of wild. So,
yeah, well, I mean, you can, just like the cost of the war in Iran, they're saying, some reports are saying a billion a day. Some are saying 2 billion a day. I look at it, it says we've spent, 24 billion. And it's been 2 weeks. So to me, that's 2 billion a day. Maybe they're averaging over time. I don't know.
Right.
We see the same thing with the cost of living. Some report, 25, 30%. Some say double, quadruple, whatever it is. We know that when we go to the store, we get less for.
Yes.
And I just bought an airplane ticket.
Oh.
And man, they are so high.
They are.
I mean, it's crazy, like insane. But we don't think about it. When oil shuts down, it's not just your car.
No.
It's plane tickets. It's the cost of moving your vegetables from one state to another, or one part of a state to another. So it impacts everything. And that's why I think the president may be underestimating this, because he was talking about reopening the Strait of Hormuz, this passage where 20% of the world's oil and gas goes through. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of going, well, it's not our problem. We don't get our oil from there. But if it's going to make every single thing more expensive for the people of your country, it is your problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't think that we have a smart president, personally, my opinion. And I don't think that the people that surround him are the brightest. We are really in a unique time in history in this country. And it can be quite terrifying. It can be quite terrifying when you look at the influences, the outside influences that have been reported, whether it be the Heritage Foundation or, alleged election interference from Russia and Vladimir Putin. It's scary. It's scary because, there doesn't seem to be any sort of direction. Even with this war, there doesn't appear to be any sort of strategy. Right. It's easy to start when everyone's been saying, every political analyst that I follow always says it's easy to start a war, but it's not easy to end a war, because you don't get to determine when the war is over. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everybody participating has to determine.
I mean, it's like a schoolyard fight. Don't start none, won't be none.
Exactly.
Don't write checks with your mouth that your butt can't cash, because I feel like that's where we are. It's true. We don't have a clear strategy, or if we do, it's top secret because the president refuses to articulate it. I'm a little torn about the smart question. I think he's an idiot.
Oh, for sure.
I think he's like super, which is why he calls everyone else low IQ. Yeah. But when it comes to the people around him, I'm torn, because Project 2025, although everything about it is terrible, is pretty masterful. And the way they have strategically put all the pieces in place to overturn our right, to terminate a pregnancy, our rights over our body.
Health, body autonomy. Yeah. I will say that I think that certain people, like I think about Mark Wayne Mullen, right? I don't look at him as bright, Kristi Noem, but there are certain people, when I look at the Ellisons, who have bought up everything from TikTok to HBO Max to CNN. When I look at all the media mergers and just the dismantling of these institutions that we were raised to believe were kind of solid. It seems like America was being held together on like the good faith of like a handshake agreement.
Right. Scotch tape.
Yeah. And nothing really even matters anymore. I do think that the people that surround him in certain facets, when it comes to the Heritage Foundation, who authored Project 2025 and other things, they are incredibly smart and incredibly strategic. And this has really been like a 30-year plan in the making.
Right.
Like this is not something that has come up overnight. These people have been infiltrating. The goal was to infiltrate every branch of government. They are our judges. They are our doctors. They are like these religious zealots, these evangelical, I don't know how to describe these people, but this has been a goal. I was just watching a documentary called Shiny Happy People on Prime Video, and it originally talks about the Duggar family from that TLC show, like 16 and Counting or something like that. Oh my gosh,
and that guy just got accused of being a pedophile.
Well, it's not his first time, but then it expands and it lets you know, like it's such an informative documentary about how, and it's in multiple parts, but it lets you know like about the Joshua generation. Like episode 3 of season 1 was really eye-opening. And then they just came out with a second season this past year, which talked about just the infiltration, just how strategic all of this has been since Reagan. There have been people working underground, not to put on my tinfoil hat, but they have been pissed at the progress that has been made in this country when it comes to civil rights and reproductive rights and LGBTQ plus rights. Like, they are angry, and they have a very narrow view of what America should look like, and they have been working tirelessly to make sure that they get their version of the American dream.
Think Ken and Barbie, the original. But I mean, when it comes to tinfoil hat,
yeah,
you know, me and Dr. Melina Abdullah were talking about this. Any conspiracy theorist right now has got to be going, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. So it might be, you know, tinfoil hats might be appropriate at this time. Yeah. Well, they're saying that this guy, Joseph Duggar, was arrested in Arkansas.
Yeah, and it's not his first time. I've been reporting on the Duggar family for a little over a decade.
Really?
Yeah, they have a long history of crimes against children, particularly within the family. If Josh is the brother, because there's a few brothers that have assaulted the sisters, allegedly. And I can remember as far back as 2015, 11 years ago, reporting on the Duggar family and the hypocrisy that comes out of their ministry and what they've been, some of the crimes they've been accused of.
Wow.
Which is typical.
More on that when we come forward. Shar Jossell, Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
All the women who independent, throw your hands up at me.
This March, we're turning up the volume on the women who changed everything. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to celebrate Women's History Month, honoring the trailblazers, truth tellers, and game changers who shaped our world, our culture, and our community. From the freedom fighters to the firsts, from the boardroom to the front lines, from the unsung to the unforgettable, all month long, we're celebrating the stories, the voices, and the conversations that remind us that women, Black women, have always led the way. Don't miss a moment. This is our moment. This is our story. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580, Los Angeles' home for the conversations that matter.
I'm your girl, you're my girl, we're your girls. Won't you know that we love you?
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
He's the son of a school teacher and Navy veteran who built a company worth billions and walked away from it. Tom Steyer, pledging to give away half of everything he earned to charity and fight for Californians. So when out-of-state corporations weren't paying their fair share of taxes, Tom Steyer led the fight for Prop 39 and won, earning California billions of dollars for our schools. Tom took on Big Oil to stop them polluting our air and water and smash them. Tom fought for free school lunches so no child goes hungry. Tom Steyer, strong enough to take on the special interests crushing us with the cost of living. As governor, Tom will stop Wall Street from buying up middle-class homes, lower utility rates by 25%, and ban corporate PAC money from our politics. Other politicians talk. Tom Steyer gets it done. Ad paid for by Steyer for Governor 2026.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
Award-winning journalist and media personality and writer Shar Jossell is with me. And we are open for your comments or conversation at 800-920-1580. We've got a couple of them here in the YouTube chat at KBLA 1580. Carl Tucker wants to know, do we override our bosses when we want to report on the news in terms of what we decide we want to report on as opposed to what they assign?
Ooh.
And I will say that Tavis Smiley gives me a very wide berth. What he will do is he will say, I would like you to cover a certain thing.
Yeah.
Here or there, but he doesn't say don't cover this or you must only cover this. He'll ask that I include something. For example, the whole station has been reporting on the terrible actions of Southern California Edison and the Altadena Eaton fire.
Yeah.
And now we see their CEOs and their corporate bosses are making big money while trying to rip off the survivors of the fire they started. That kind of thing, that's a station project. But he doesn't tell me what to report on or what to talk about.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think that it's really case by case. I think that's a personal gamble and risk you have to take.
Yeah.
Again, because it's so specific to news directors and station managers. And I know that, like Sinclair and there are other like conglomerates that own stations that give specific scripts. And I still think that there's ways for anchors and reporters to get around certain things.
Right.
You could do stuff at work, but you could also, go live on Instagram maybe, and talk about stories, or TikTok, or like there's ways to get around that, but it's so risky because again, a lot of it's case by case. What are you willing to put on the line,
It's really risky right now too, because so many news organizations and corporations are preemptively surrendering. People are paying off the president to the tune of millions of dollars, and being threatened by the FCC. So I think it's more fraught than ever. But when I was at NBC, they used to be a lot more strict about what I could and could not say. When I was working for Stevie Wonder all those years, he also gave me discretion. With suggestions. Same as Tavis.
Especially when I think it's one thing when you're just reporting the news in a very linear way, in like a traditional NBC way. And it's different when we're doing like what we're doing here today, where we're reporting, but also offering our opinions.
Opining. Yeah, this is talk radio.
Yeah.
But we know how to switch hats. When I do a news story, I'll report the facts. But and honestly, Shar, I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel that white male, cisgender, right of center is considered the default. So when we are told to be objective, really most of the time what we're being told is to reflect that viewpoint.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's truly objective. We see the world through our own eyes. We can only see through our perspective. We can be fair.
Yes.
But objective, not so much.
I totally agree with that. Because objectivity is in the eye of the beholder. It's in the eye of the rule maker.
Yeah.
They get to determine, what is objective. And oftentimes, as people of color or marginalized people, that objectivity includes betraying ourselves and like perpetually gaslighting ourselves, because you know what's true, you know what the story is, but you have to kind of play devil's advocate or give benefit of the doubt in areas that don't deserve that grace.
Right. Right. We get to be Stacey Dash. If we want, to be mainstream, maybe that's not a good example because she went a little too far over. But I think that is right. We're expected to betray ourselves. We're expected to bend over backwards. To represent another perspective, but not strongly advocate for our own. That's why I'm always going to say that, because I think it's a trick. They say you have to be unbiased and objective, but what they mean is you have to reflect the mainstream white male, cisgender, middle class, right of center,
able-bodied,
perspective,
Christian, heterosexual. Like you have to. It's definitely a very specific tunnel vision lens that they want us to report and look through.
Right. And even when you look at mainstream media panels, they say they have this guy on the left, this person in the center, that person on the right. But the person that's on the left is really the center. And then you've got right and far right. And there really is no left in the conversation. 75 to 85% of the time.
I totally agree.
Yeah. I don't know how we change that, but I think one way is by calling it out.
Yeah, I oftentimes say, I'm someone who has been watching The View for decades. I'm a big fan of the show. I've been a few times. And I'm like, I think it would be so interesting. I know how they always have like a Republican seat, but I think it would be so interesting to have like a radical leftist, because they haven't had that. Like maybe someone from Gen Z who's super, 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 super far left. I think that would totally change a lot of the conversation, to your point about certain representation on panels.
Just like Abby Phillip. You've got this white supremacist dude over here.
Yes.
Where is the far left perspective? Where's Dr. Cornel West?
Yeah.
Or the Gen Z version of Cornel West.
The Gen Z version, right? Because when you have far right people on, it then normalizes and sanitizes their message, and people start to listen and say, well, maybe that's not so bad. But it's like, if someone is an avowed white supremacist and they have a platform to, clean up their talk but still get that message through, it's just as dangerous. It's the same conversations we keep having about like the red pill and these podcasts and the Joe Rogan and just how like Gen Z and younger generations and how these boys are terrorizing these little girls down at the schoolhouse because they are in the privacy of their bedrooms or on their phones, and they're ingesting, toxic and antiquated viewpoints around what it means to be a man, right? And then that goes out, that messaging then goes out and gets translated into action, and it ends up harming people.
B. Bell wants to know who holds the FCC accountable. Well, that would be the president.
Yeah.
And
the FCC is not supposed to be partisan.
Right.
Like we are, as the kids say, we're cooked. Like I said, I'm still trying to hold on to that faith. But right now, Brendan Carr, I believe that's his name, who's the FCC chairman. He is totally in bed with the Trump administration. They're not even attempting to hide it. And so I don't know who holds the FCC accountable. It goes back to my earlier point about how all of these rules and the country and the system, I'm using air quotes, that we've been conditioned to believe in or maybe trust to a certain extent, all of this is held together by Scotch tape. Because that is a good question. Who holds the FCC accountable? Who holds the 34 count convicted felon president accountable? So it's a conversation that snowballs, and we unfortunately don't really have checks and balances right now. I mean,
it's like Attorney Nana Jomfi said on this show, we are in the era of who gonna check me, boo.
No, really. really.
We are in the era of who gonna check me, boo. And the thing about it is, I guess ultimately the voters hold the FCC accountable because the president appoints that. But on a day-to-day operational, functional basis, nobody?
Well, that's the inherent issue, is that they can bulldoze, right? On a day-to-day basis, they can bulldoze and roll over and roll back and take away and add. And we vote when we vote. We don't get to vote every day. You know what I'm saying?
Every day we don't.
So that's the one caveat in that conversation, is that he gets to come in and wreck shop and flip tables and create an entire mess, and then we're all like sitting by, biting our nail beds down, waiting for the next time we can vote, and then hoping that everyone will be fed up enough to vote the right way, or will be paying attention enough to vote the right way. And I can't say that I have too much faith in that.
Yeah, that's a whole problem. Plus, how is it a nonpartisan body when you get 3 Republicans and 3 Democrats? Like, they're not just picking people with blindness to their partisan affiliation.
For sure.
It's just that Republicans, as usual, do a better job of exploiting when they have the edge. We've got news, traffic, and sports right now. Then more with Shar Jossell and Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Federal Reserve is keeping interest rates unchanged. Chair Jerome Powell says no further cuts are coming without more progress on inflation, which remains elevated.
The feeling that we haven't seen, the progress that we had hoped for on core goods and on tariffs and on the rest of it.
He noted uncertainty from higher oil prices and new tariffs, but says GDP growth should reach 2.4% this year. Dr. Corey Wiggins has been named the new president of Tougaloo College. The Mississippi native and public policy leader takes over July 1st. The HBCU says his experience in economic development will help strengthen its mission. Wiggins says he's honored to lead the college. And Lizzo is releasing new music. The Grammy-winning singer announced her new song, Don't Make Me Love You, on social media Wednesday. This will be Lizzo's newest single since 2025. The song drops Friday. Get BIN News now, on demand, 24/7, on the iHeartRadio app.
For nearly 50 years, OPL Law has changed lives, restored futures, and delivered justice. When your world turns upside down after an accident, reputation and success matter. We're real people who fight for real people. OPLLaw.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers are looking more and more like a serious contender in the Western Conference. They won their 7th straight game Wednesday night, a 124-116 win in Houston. 40 points, 9 rebounds, and 10 assists for Luka Doncic, 30 points for LeBron. LeBron made 13 of 14 shots. It was not a good night for the Clippers in New Orleans. The Clippers lost their 3rd straight game. New Orleans pulled away for a 124-109 victory. The Clippers are below 500 again at 34-35. For the first time in the history of the NCAA men's basketball tournament, 3 HBCU teams are competing in the first round: Tennessee State, Howard, and Prairie View A&M. Prairie View became the 3rd team Wednesday night when they beat Lehigh 67-55 in the play-in round. Before this year, 2 HBCU teams was the highest number that qualified in previous NCAA men's tournaments. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Old-fashioned soul. Where you eating at? Hi, I'm Greg Doolin, inviting you to a special celebration of Women's History Month. Join KBLA Talk 1580 for its annual symposium, The State of Black Women in LA. Broadcast live from Doolin's Soul Food on Crenshaw, Friday, March 27th, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., moderated by Dominique DePrima. And yes, breakfast is just $15.80. Come get fed twice. Your stomach and your mind will thank you. We'll see you Friday morning, March 27th, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. at Doolin's Soul Food on Crenshaw for the State of Black Women in LA. Broadcast live only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money, or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help. Breathe easier with the South Coast Air Quality Management District mobile app. Get real-time air quality updates, forecasts, and alerts when air quality is poor right on your phone. It's free and easy to use. Just search South Coast AQMD and download today. What's your air quality?
Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, KBLA Talk 1580 host and African Focus Incorporated cultural ambassador. You probably know by now that every year our 2 organizations team up to lead a trip to the motherland. This June will be our 8th African Focus Trailblazers Tour, and it's not too late to join us. But if you've been thinking of going with us, now is the time to sign on before prices go up. Our current deadline is March 20th. Join us as we travel to a country widely considered one of Africa's most underrated destinations, Zambia, home to the towering Victoria Falls and the bustling capital city, Lusaka. Enjoy a visit to Botswana, known for its pristine natural beauty and stunning Southern African wildlife. We travel in comfort with luxury accommodations, a variety of fun activities, and delicious dining. We do service with charitable work at a school and an orphanage, and we expand our horizons with cultural and historical excursions. To sign up now before our March 20th deadline, please call African Focus Focus Incorporated at 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300. Or check out AfricanFocus.org. Whether it's in the community or traveling the globe, we move as family. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Let's go.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio. KBLA Talk 1580.
Madam President, the president of the National Association of Black Journalists, Los Angeles branch, is with me in studio. Shar Jossell, award-winning journalist, writer, personality, and all the things. And we do have a lot to unpack. We were responding to some questions in the YouTube chat at KBLA 1580. Kind of over in this media space, and Jerry Anderson wants to know: is BET Plus something relevant enough that we should be concerned about the Paramount purchase merger thingy?
Yeah. I think so. And I say that because, it only takes one snowflake to cause an avalanche. And I look at it not to, be all cerebral, but I look at it kind of like how rights are, right? If LGBT rights are threatened, and once they're done with LGBT people, they're going to move on to other groups, right? And I think that BET Plus, if we look at it as insignificant or not something worth our attention, they're then just going to go on to other networks or at least other programming. Because with this merger that just took place with the Edisons and Paramount acquiring Warner Brothers, they have control over so much, and it affects creators, it affects actors, it affects journalists rather. And so, yeah, I think that we have to wait and see, but the power is still with the consumer. The power is still with the consumer at the end of the day, because we could cancel all of this stuff and not tune into these subscriptions. But I do think that part of the goal is, even if we do that, they have successfully killed it.
Yeah, I think the power is with the consumer. But there's also this thing about what we have access to, what's marketed, what is even produced. I mean, I'm sure you saw the study, what was it, a couple months ago that came out that showed 90% of what's being streamed right now is white stuff by white creators.
Yeah.
Even though it seems like, in some ways, we're making progress, but yet there's these gatekeepers. And to me, the thing that is not getting talked about enough, although I'm starting to hear it a little bit, is that you have one family now basically controlling a huge percentage of U.S. media. And that family happens to be supporters of Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah. They happen to be supporters of President Trump. They happen to be very conservative. And now they have CBS, CNN, Paramount, BET, HBO,
TikTok.
Like
the censorship is wild. And I do think that, like I said, as far as like black and brown and marginalized creators, there's going to have to maybe be some creative pivots entertained, because the gatekeeping is going to be, I think, ramped up. And I also think that there are people in power who now have a green light to discriminate. Instead of like be performatively inclusive.
Right.
Now it's like, oh, I don't have to entertain.
Right. We don't even have to do the fake woke anymore.
And like you said, who gonna check me?
Right.
If I don't green light this black person's show or even take the meeting, who they gonna report me to? Who's gonna spank me?
Well, right. And to your point, that's where the people power is the only thing that's what's going to save, I was going to say America, but America may end up looking very different. The United States of America may end up looking very different when we come out the other side of this, hopefully for the better. But, yeah, it's the doors are closing, but we always find a way. So I can't get discouraged by that. But I need us to be aware of it, because it's not just the gatekeeping, Shar Jossell. It's also the influencing. And I was talking with a powerful friend about this last night.
Yeah.
That the messaging influences people in how they perceive things, what's true and what's not true. I'm sure you were tracking, that people were saying Netanyahu was dead.
Yes.
Yesterday, the day before, whatever. And Apparently he's not. I don't know.
I don't know either, but I do know, to your point, that, media narratives oftentimes do dictate and shape the ways in which we interact with each other.
Look at what happened to Kamala.
Yeah.
I mean, and Hillary. They effectively position them and put talking points and put so-called facts on them that were out of context or fully untrue.
And they weren't going to win in that, because we live in a country that is inherently misogynistic and inherently patriarchal. So they already were entering, the conversation at a deficit, I believe.
Yeah, one hand tied behind your back.
Yeah, the national conversation.
And she probably won. I still believe Kamala probably won. I don't mean to sound like Donald Trump, but if you look at the probabilities of the way that the election results came in,
he's
mathematically.
Even said things. We used what was it? Skydance? Is it ByteDance or Sky? Whatever Elon Musk's Wi-Fi or internet, Starlink. Yes, Skydance.
Which sounds like ByteDance is part of that Paramount acquisition situation. Yeah,
it is. But yeah, like we used that, and Trump has fumbled over his words. I'm using, again, air quotes with this, and he has admitted, to an extent, that the election was stolen. I don't want to, reduce the quote, but if you do your Googling, your good Googling, you will see that there are actual quotes that this man has said, but they are also to the Bibi Netanyahu piece. With unchecked AI and people creating videos and being able to do whatever they want with this technology, I think it is designed to create chaos, and we don't know what's true. We don't know up from down or left from right. And even as journalists, we now have to take extra steps before we report anything, because the video could be fake, the quote could be fake, the deep fake, and it's really, really scary what technology they've given to the average Joe on their phones and what they're able to create and manipulate.
I can't always tell. Sometimes I have to go into the comments. You either?
Yeah, no, sometimes I've gotten caught up. Most times I pride myself. I'm like, that's AI. That's AI.
Like Miles. Miles can always tell.
Yeah, I can clock, but there have been times where I've been like, ooh, I've been gagged, okay, that one got me. And it could be something as simple as a cat video on TikTok, someone playing with their cat, and it's AI. And I'm like, wow, I thought this was a really cute video, and it's really scary. It's really AI is something to be excited about, but it just manipulates, it's unchecked. There's no guardrails. It's very.
We have to get more sophisticated in our eyeballs, and I think we will.
Well,
I think we will.
The machines appear to be 2 steps ahead of us, ahead of the cultural conversation.
Definitely ahead of the legal conversation about
sure.
what's allowed and what's not.
Yeah.
Which is also scary, but I was telling my friend on the phone that I do think the consumer again will play a role here, because I think that once people get more clear on what's AI and what's not, it's going to be unfashionable to, I want a real human. I want a real human to make my food. I want a real human to make my music.
I want a real human always, actually. When I'm on the phone, when I'm making a hotel reservation or calling my bank or what have you, I want to talk to a real human. I don't want to talk to a machine, because, again, we have oftentimes, very specific questions.
Right.
And the prompts can only go so far. These machines can only be programmed so much.
You're preaching to the choir right here. I agree with you, because I don't want to be yelling into my phone.
Yes.
I said.
Yes. And it used to be so easy to just say representative, please.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like it's scary.
No, they try to keep you away from that representative now. They gatekeep the representative.
Well, they got rid of the jobs.
Right.
There's no one there.
There is no representative.
They laid everyone off and put it in the hands of the computer.
Yes, indeed. They have, somebody said that Tubi is going to flip next. And he said by flip, that was Forensic Accountant. He said by flip, he means all white programming.
Well, isn't Tubi owned by Rupert Murdoch and
you know what? I don't know the answer to that.
Not sure. I'm asking the question.
I'm trying to Google finger it real quick. But the thing about it is that Fox, you're right.
Yeah, Tubi.
Rupert Murdoch.
You got to squint and look at some of these.
Yikes.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, the reason I say that is because that's a playbook. You know, and actually Fox has done really well with that playbook.
Oh, for sure.
Start a channel or an outlet with black people
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the eyeballs, and then you flip it.
And then you flip it. And the UPN
keep us out.
did the same thing.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, they. It's a formula for sure. It's a formula.
The 2B Media Group, a division of Fox Corporation.
Yeah, so you got to squint, right? You got to squint between the blinds and see what's going on.
And when we talk about platforms that we own,
yeah,
fan base. Is Spill black owned?
Spill is black owned. I actually know the CEO of Spill. Shout out to Fonz Terrell. His name is Alfonso Terrell. And there's also Kenya Parham and RK.
She's been on this show.
Yeah. Spill is black owned. Yeah.
Spill is black owned.
They're
Fan
great.
base is black owned. Blue Sky, not
Blue
black
Sky,
owned.
I think Jack, who started Twitter, started Blue Sky.
Okay, I didn't
Jack,
know that.
who sold Twitter to Elon and dismantled.
We're still mad at you, Jack.
We're still mad at you. I know. I'm personally just incensed with Jack.
Yeah, I'm torn. Shar, are you still on Twitter?
So my account is still up. I have not tweeted since the election. When the election results came out, that was my last tweet. And it's such a volatile. It's what I imagine the dark web to have been.
Yeah, it's
now
really
mainstream.
Mean. It's mean over there.
You can't even say good morning over there without being, hurled an insult. At least in my view. And then also just how nasty it is. Grok was producing. At one point, you could post a selfie and someone could say, "Grok, remove her clothes," right? The AI, and it would. So it has brought those dark web niche conversations to the forefront and has platformed them and has legitimized them. And so I still have my account. I'm just not active. And I really haven't found a home since leaving Twitter. I'm not really a fan of Threads. I'm on Blue Sky.
I'm not on Threads.
I'm on Spill.
Blue Sky, it seems like there's hardly anyone on Blue Sky.
Well, people are on Blue Sky. It's just not the traffic. And I was just talking to Kid Fury about this on his podcast. Twitter just spoiled me. That verification, I got so many jobs. I got so many, Twitter spoiled me. And that was my morning paper at one point when Jack was in charge and verification meant something. You can just purchase it and impersonate someone. And I got so many news sources and I was just able to do so much with my career through Twitter in its golden age, so.
Those blue check marks don't really mean anything anywhere anymore, do they?
No.
Because you can purchase it on Instagram.
Either.
You can purchase it on.
And I think that's by design.
Yeah.
Without verification, we don't know. Everybody's running around with their hair on fire because you don't know who to trust. You don't know if the video is real. You don't know if this verification is actually the person. Is actually the source, and it is corroded public trust. We were really comfortable a few years ago.
And what about Fanbase? What are your thoughts on that?
I am not on Fanbase. I've heard mixed reviews about Fanbase.
Yeah.
I know one of my friends, Francesca Ramsey, has been very vocal about Fanbase. So it is.
I have to look that up. I'm on it, but I never use it. That sounds crazy. Kind of like you on Twitter. I have an account. I migrated a bunch of my content over there.
It's hard,
but it's a little. I don't know. It's a little confusing for me. Maybe I'm just.
It's just
slow.
hard to find a rhythm with the other social media things. For me, it's hard to find a rhythm and engagement and certain. It was just Twitter had a certain rhythm to it that it can't be replicated.
Yeah, I do like Instagram, even though it's Mark Zuckerberg, who I'm not too thrilled with at the moment. And what about TikTok? Now that Ellison's bought it, I'm still there. I was barely starting. Miles finally got me on TikTok, starting to have fun with it. Yeah. And now I'm thinking maybe I should get the heck off.
So here's the thing. I'm so glad you brought this up. I'll be very brief. When the news came out in January about TikTok being acquired by the Ellisons and all the stuff they'd be tracking, I instantly deleted my account. And then the next day I went to a TikTok event. I was actually at the Sundance Film Festival, and I talked to a TikTok employee. He gave me 45 minutes of his time off the record.
Wow.
And basically I re-downloaded my TikTok and I was able to get my account back because he wasn't really a disciple of TikTok, but what he told me made perfect sense to me. And it's one of those things where basically all social media is compromised. TikTok's not special or doing doing anything any different than what Zuckerberg and Instagram is doing. They're just being transparent about it. We're all being tracked. We all, even if you were to delete all of your social media today, you still have a digital footprint. You're still Googleable. You still have a public profile. There's still things that exist online about you, your birth date, your address, your phone number, maybe your political party, your parents. And so it's almost like, you're too far, like we're too far collectively in the game to kind of be self-righteous to delete TikTok. Because like I said, I deleted TikTok, and he was like, if you delete TikTok, you might as well just get rid of it all. And so I reinstalled TikTok because I enjoy TikTok. I do enjoy
TikTok.
TikTok
Is fun.
But they've censored us. I have not seen any videos out of Minneapolis. I have not seen TikTok before they got to tweaking it when China was still in charge. Mm-hmm. You still got global news. That search engine was unmatched. You could be so specific. You could type in things for a black girl to do in Leimert Park for the weekend, and it would give you it would be that specific of a search. And so it was once a magical place. It still has its fun. I still enjoy it, but I'd be lying to you if I said the changes weren't obvious. The censorship is so obvious. You can't say certain things. But
yeah, I mean, I understand you can't say Zionist. You can't criticize the president.
You can't even type Epstein, I don't think. And there are people that upload videos that get 12 views that used to get millions of views. And it also interrupts the creator economy. And I guess that just goes back to how you can't put all your eggs in one basket out here while we're all trying to figure it out financially. You can't specifically, I guess, be like a TikTok influencer if at the flip of a switch, the Ellisons can change the rules on you.
Yeah, I have a good friend that told me that many years ago. Dominique, put it all on your website. Did I listen? No. But what he was trying to say is get the data so that you can contact your fans and followers, and don't give it all to Mark Zuckerberg or Larry Ellison or Elon Musk. But
get you a good mailing list. I'm not a newsletter girl. I have a website, but I'm not a newsletter girl. I don't. But there are people who I subscribe to on Substack, or like I said, there's certain newsletters, certain traffic.
Nima8199 says AI is not scary. We had the tech for TV for at least a decade before it showed up in American homes. It's not scary, but it can be used in scary ways. And I Am Friday Jones says, I left TikTok and I'm not going back. Anything you want to say to Friday?
I mean, I kind of just said it. It's to each their own. But for me, I re-downloaded the app because I thought that the employee, who was a black man who had a history in working in cybersecurity, he made sense to me. And I was like, you're right. If I delete TikTok, I might as well delete it all. And for me, I think AI, to be very specific, AI is not scary. You're absolutely correct, but it can be, because for all the good, there's also another shoe that could drop. So
it'll be scary to you when somebody makes a deep fake of you naked, having a sex tape that you never did.
As we saw on the morning show, journalists, we're working with AI, of course, because it could be a great tool, but also AI is taking a lot of journalism jobs. AI is writing stories. The BBC did a full report on AI, and at the end, it was revealed that the person reporting on the story was AI herself. I didn't know.
Yeah.
She did a whole segment.
All bad.
Yeah.
All bad. Shar Jossell is here. I'm Dominique DePrima. We'll have our final moments together when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
They call it progress. But progress has a price. Land once held in black hands, taken, stolen, erased. Acres paved into highways, fields burned. Homes replaced by parking lots and broken promises. Every deed lost was a dream deferred. We talk about millionaires, but what about the millionaires that never were? The farmers whose soil was seized. The families who watched their inheritance disappear. The wealth that never had a chance to grow because its roots were ripped from the ground. They took the land, but never the legacy, because the soil remembers, and so do we. Every story matters. Our mission is to collect, preserve, and amplify these stories. If this is part of your family's history, visit blacklandlost.org/share your story and help bring us closer to justice.
What if your rooftop could earn you money every year? With LADWP's Solar Rooftops program, you can get solar panels installed and maintained on your home at no cost and earn up to $900 a year. That's up to $18,000 over 20 years. There are no upfront costs, no credit checks, and no annual fees. Plus, you'll help power Los Angeles with clean local solar energy and reduce reliance on fossil fuels. Make your rooftop work for you. Apply today at ladwp.com/solar rooftops. Heading out of town this spring? Metro makes getting to LAX easier than ever. Just take the C or K train lines to the new LAX Metro Transit Center. Then catch a free shuttle straight to your terminal. Easy, affordable, stress-free. Travel smart. Go Metro.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project.
Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Good old-fashioned soul. Where you eating at? Hi, I'm Greg Doolin, inviting you to a special celebration of Women's History Month. Join KBLA Talk 1580 for its annual symposium, The State of Black Women in LA. Broadcast live from Doolin's Soul Food on Crenshaw, Friday, March 27th, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., moderated by Dominique DePrima. And yes, breakfast is just $15.80. Come get fed twice. Your stomach and your mind will thank you. We'll see you Friday morning, March 27th, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. at Doolin's Soul Food on Crenshaw for the State of Black Women in LA. Broadcast live only on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
And yes, I need you to hydrate. It's really hot. It's still hot. It's going to be hot, I guess, until Friday night. Shar Jossell is here. We got off on this conversation about media literacy stuff and AI literacy, which is now a part of media literacy.
Yeah.
How do you double check and fact check? And how do you know something is true? A video or an article that comes across your desk?
Typically, well, when it comes to international affairs, I examine Al Jazeera. I think they're a great news source.
Yeah, same.
But I still have like my traditional media that I lean towards. I do love like the big three, I should say. Well, big two at this point, because CBS and Fox are, of course, compromised. But I do look at ABC, NBC, local news. And I also take a beat. I've noticed that within recent years, I take a pause before I react to something, because rage bait is a total, like, that's an infrastructure within its own. Like, there's an entire system designed to keep, our nervous system dysregulated and us like pulling our hair out and being angry at everything. And most times, most things that I'm angry about or that I've found myself reacting to have not been true or real. So it's about taking a step back, because our algorithms are also like designed towards us. Like, we're being monitored. They see what we like. They see if you spend 2 seconds longer watching this video than you did that one, and they feed us more of the same things. And so effectively we're in echo chambers. And even with that, like, I have trusted creators. There's some podcasts that I like. and different thought leaders that I trust. And so, and even then, as a journalist, I have to make sure, and being the president of a journalism organization, I'm like, there is no margin of error. Even with me being a human being, I'm like, I have to make sure that when I open my mouth, that I'm at least able to link it back to something, you know. And so, yeah, I'm a little bit all over the place when it comes to that. But I do take a beat before I react. And, you know, also shout out to Phil Lewis, who's a friend of mine. He's the president of the DC chapter of NABJ. Phil is this dynamic Black man who works at Huffington Post, and he also has his own thing going on. But Phil reports accurate news. Like, Phil is someone that I look to where I don't even really second guess. If Phil says it, he's built up a rapport as a journalist where it's like, if Phil has reported it, it's true.
Those are the trusted messengers.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we got news, traffic, and sports right now. Thank you so much, Shar Jossell, for joining me. We can find you on all the platforms. Instagram, Shar Jossell, SHARJOSSEL.
Yes, I'm Shar Says So on everything.
Shar Says So. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
yes,
thank
yes.
you for being with me today.
Thank you
it's
for
much
having
appreciated.
me.
News, traffic, and sports, and more on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Federal Reserve is keeping interest rates unchanged. Chair Jerome Powell says no further cuts are coming without more progress on inflation, which remains elevated.
The feeling that we haven't seen, the progress that we had hoped for on core goods and on tariffs and on the rest of it.